So back to what I was saying. Could be us. This could be us. So back to what I was saying. Could be us.
What's going on, everybody? This is for all the implodians out there. Shout out to the Roper School, Ann Arbor, Daycroft, Avondale, Gate Magnet School, and all the implodians around the state of Michigan. This is going to be a homework assignment. And basically, all you're going to do is pause the video and try to guess the right move. As I show you, one of the greatest games ever played. This game was this was in, what year was this? This was in this was 1907 in a place called Lowe's, and it was between George Rotlewi, who is white, against the great Akiba Rubinstein, who's black. And we're gonna get into the game right now. Now, for those of you who are in Group 2, and some of you guys who haven't played a tournament before in Group 1 and Group 2, we have a homework for you is the notation, learning chess notation, because there's a tournament that we have coming up at Avondale Gate Magnet School called the Spooky Halloween Tournament, and you're going to have to write your moves down in that tournament. So please look at that video as well. All right, let's get into our game here. Okay. All right. Rotlewi is white. Akiba Rubinstein is black here. And started out pretty normal. D4, D5, knight f3. Everyone's controlling the center of the board. Black plays C5 here, gaining some space here. White then plays C4. Knight C6, this development. Knight C3. Everything looks pretty much the same. Here, white tries to open up the position a little bit here. Bishop takes C5. You see that black has a little bit more development with 3 pieces. White is playing A3 because he wants to play B4 and get a tempo on the bishop. A6 is played, B4, bishop D6 right there, still controlling the center of the board. Bishop B2, castle, queen to D2. So white's plan is to play rook D1 eventually, put pressure on this D5 pawn. You notice here we already have 3 things covering it. But you have to be careful about taking it right away. For instance, if we show takes, knight takes, and queen takes, and you're saying, hey, we're winning the pawn, not really, because the queen is not protected. So we'll use question number 1. Are there any checks? Yes. And can we attack a piece more times to protect it? Yes. The king has to get out of check. And so the only good move is to block the check with your queen, because if you, for instance, move away, then queen takes. So that's why that pawn on D5 isn't free. So white plans to go queen D2 and maybe rook to D1 or queenside castle to put a rook behind the queen there. Queen to E7, bishop to D3, white's last minor piece developed. And then black takes here, bishop takes E4, B5, nothing but initiative here. Black is trying to be aggressive because white's king is in the center of the board. That's what you're supposed to do when you're up in development. Rook to D8, there's a discovery possibility later on because the queen is on the same file. White moves the queen away. Bishop to B7, castle, and then knight E5. Everything looks normal here. There's some trades. And then the move F4. And now, even though white has played F4, it does weaken some squares around the center of the board here. Bishop to C7, but still not a big deal. White has a space advantage, looks very good. Rook to C8 on an open file, and then E5 is played. Not only is E5 blocking your bishop on B2, The bishop no longer has this really good diagonal. It's allowing some squares to be open here. And remember, our rules say when you have a space advantage, be careful of moving the pawns too early because they leave weak squares behind. And now d5 and f5 is weak, where on e4 these squares were controlled. Let's see. He goes bishop to b. Instead of moving the knight, he looks for the checks first. Bishop to b6. That's a check here. King to h1. And now he does have to move the knight. He chooses to move the knight to a light square. And white might have had to take this here, because if the reason why white decided not to take, or you don't win a piece, is because the white leaves the defense of the bishop. And then look at the black's bishops, right? Bishop pair. Side by side, long diagonal, really nice bishops here. So he decided not to take the knight. Instead, he tries to trade off one of those bishops on the diagonal with bishop to e4. That makes sense, but boom. Queen to h4 is played here. Queen to h4 is played, threatening mate in the face. So white here has to respond to checkmate. Can't run away because the bishop is covering the runaway square. So here he decides to play g3. Okay. Let's see. If he plays h3, I want you guys to pause your videos and tell me what is black's best move here. Pause your video. Okay. Now this one is a difficult one, but remember, chess is all about the imbalances and not about who has more. So here, black plays rook takes c3. Big time move. Black takes away the knight, which defended the bishop on e4. The reason why, let's say bishop takes c3, and we go bishop takes e4. Now, if queen takes e4, pause your videos here and tell me what black's best move is here. Okay. If you guessed queen to g3, you're on the money, because you're threatening checkmate. Of course, the king cannot run again because of the bishop on b6. And if h takes g4, then queen h4 is checkmate. Again, the bishop cuts off the running square. That's game over. So that means white cannot take the knight here. He would have to take the knight on g4, and then after take here, then there's another great move here. I want you guys to pause your video. This is black to move. All right. If you guess rook to d3, you're right, because not only are you winning the bishop, you're threatening. Let's say he plays rook c1 and then the fantastic rook h3 checkmate. Again, the bishop on b6 is the star here. The pawn cannot take the rook because the king would be in check, so that pawn is pinned. The bishop pair is very valuable. All right, so that means either you get checkmated or you lose the bishop. He can play the rook here, but we take here, and then we take the bishop. And here this is covered by the bishop here. We can just play like g6 and we're winning the game because we're up a whole bishop here. So that's one variation. That's one thing that could have happened. All right. Let's say black does not take. Let's say white does not take on c3 because he sees that's going to happen. Let's say we take on g4 first. All right. Now, I want you guys to pause your video here and tell me what's the best move for black here. Okay. If you guessed rook takes h3, check. Remember, pawn cannot take. Oh, well, actually, pawn can take, but then bishop check is coming here. And this is going to be a very bad position. So here he went queen takes. queen takes, and then pawn takes, and then bishop takes e4. Now, I want you guys to, there's going to be checkmate by force here, but I want you guys to kind of try to guess it here, okay? So after king h2, pause your video. What's the best move here? That's right, rook d2, king is forced to g3. Pause your video. What's the best move here? If you guess rook g2, you're correct. King is forced to h4. Pause your video. What's the best move here? Okay. Bishop d8. That's right. And after king h5, you can pause your video. There's checkmate in one move here. Right. Bishop to g6, checkmate. What a variation. So none of these moves work. Either he takes the rook, that doesn't work, or he tries not to take the rook. Still doesn't work. So here, h3 doesn't work. g3 was played in this game, and this position is also pretty bad. He plays rook takes c3 as well. Let's see what happens. If g takes, then you have, I want you guys to pause your videos here. This is a good one. Black to move. All right. Fantastic. Rook d2. If we take this here, then bishop takes e4 check. And guess what? We can't move anywhere. We can only block with the queen. Okay, so say we block with the queen. And pause your videos. Black to move. What's the best move here? All right. Rook h3. Rook h3. The queen is pinned, so we can't take the rook. If we take the bishop, then rook takes h2 is checkmate. Remember, this bishop is doing such a good job of stopping the king from running. What a move there. So here, after g takes h4, rook d2. We can't take this rook here, but he does take that. Bishop takes check, queen g2, rook to h3, takes, game over. What a game from Akiba Rubinstein. We'll have more games for you guys next week. Make sure both groups, I want everyone to look at the notation video. If you haven't played a chess tournament before, you have to write your moves down. That notation video will show you how to do that. For those of you who have Chess Kid accounts, if it's not a gold membership, it's okay to do the lessons all the way until the point where they ask you for the gold memberships, and we'll make sure that we get you those memberships going further. But right now, you don't actually need it at this point. Hope to see you guys at the spooky Halloween chess tournament at Avondale Gate Magnet School, and also Scholastic Club Championship. That's coming the next weekend, November the 5th, where it's Implodians versus the World, or the Roper School, or Avondale Gate Magnet combined, whatever that might be for the Scholastic Club Championship. I want you guys to look at that and sign up. The same place that you would sign up for the Spooky Chess Halloween tournament. All right, that's our lesson for today. I'm Coach Brian. Peace.
This could be us. So back to what I was saying. Could be us.